The nappy live. You can't stop at the beach. They think was past the edge. And they took jump in that water, renew your aura, but keep a pistol to slaughter any demons that can match his neck. Yeah. I said keep a pistol to slaughter any demons that can match his neck. Big Mo would be so proud. DJ Scoop would be proud. My grandpa would be proud. Now that's how you do June 27th. Thank you. We take a piece of the big pie. Talk to me. We come from rainbows, don't break free. We had to learn why can't see. But we fly, know that more in the sky. We don't cry, take a piece of that pie. Talk to me, Jay. We come from where most don't play free. We had to learn. In the sky. We don't cry. We gon' take a piece of that pie. Everybody say, ooh, 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 ooh. We gon' take a piece of that pie. Ooh, 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 ooh. We gon' take a piece of that pie. Everybody say, ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh yeah. Ukudla ama-Christmas. Hey, doda. Nadla ngisho ojeli lami. Kulama-carols. Hey, imikhuba eniyenzayo. Hayi. One wonders about black people, Shay. Ukuthi iyophelelaphi umuntu omnyama asazi. Anyway, um, very quick feedback because ngithe izolo asenzeni a mission, and I wake up today with a very interesting vision, and I had a dream first and foremost, a very interesting one. So we're in this piece of land, ne? And I'm meeting some guys who were explaining to me what was going on with that piece of land. Very lush green. Bese kuba a very nice straight line with a nehlathi ngale on the left. And then this lady a white lady comes to me and to explain ngoba it seems like this piece of land I had accrued from her. Wayekade a owner and her family was owning. So being expropriated and come check. Useyachaza-ke ukuthi no, we have cotton in this patch. Nala. No, benjalo cotton. Okay. You realize what le nto kade niyenza la was polluting the ground. And she's shocked because she doesn't understand. No, yeah, you're planting something that is alien on this ground. And bese ngimkhombisa nginibuka ukuthi isiprobocate yazongena nalapha ehlathini elingahlangene. Into nje enizenzayo. When you come to this planet and you just fuck up everything. Nkosi yami abheke phansi ingane yabantu nje. Hey, abelungu. So I turned to this gentleman, I'm a black guy, and then he's like, yeah, nje ubona-ke nje. He explains that we had to clean up this whole section. Skip lezi iy'tshalo kade bey'fakile la. And I could see ukuthi, so it's just grass now, akusekho vegetation. They have a very nice line going as a fence ukuthi how far they've come. bese ngithi mina okay, so explain to me this thing le kade ikotini watulana. It's like, no, uh, look at it this way. So ngilibona as he is explaining it, ngiyabona ngamehlo engqondo ukuthi, oh okay, the cotton plant, okay, so now, and it says instead of ukuthi uyikhe before, I mean, uyikhe when it's just blooming, because the rule of ukuvuna ukotini is that you have to catch it um, just as it's blooming, and that's the best way of harvesting cotton. It says no, instead of ukuthi uyivune, and I could see the flower popping out like that. It says no, you let it ungayithinti, and then there is a fruit under the flora, just under the corona of the flowers. Kuba khona ibulb eformayo lapho that is actually a fruit. Now, really? Yeah, yeah. That's actually a very nice fruit. Ukuthi abantu abayazi. That's interesting. I was thinking, okay, so why don't we plant this fruit? So I say fruit instead of the cotton. And he's like, oh, okay, that's a good idea. So maybe let's start with this patch and see if we can sell that into the market. It's one of my right hand. And as he was explaining, I could see in my mind's eye someone taking the fruit and eating it, but they were doing it in secret. I think it's something they were hiding from Abelu, which is strange because I don't know which plant that was. Because I mean, honestly, when I was looking at it, it looked like some white flower, but it really didn't strike me as the cotton plant that I know. Maybe it's a family of the cotton bud, but angas, which is also very curious because la bantu laba bathathwa la bayotshalisa ukotini, and they kept that away from Abenu. That's very interesting. It reminds me also of the rose bud plant, because your rose now you can literally eat some of its, because it tends to have a bulb now kwembali, and that part, that bulb, when it's very ripe, it's actually quite okay and sweet, but very nutritious with some herbal effects in terms of vitamins in Obanban. I mean, they've done the studies now because they know about it. But anyway, so that's the thing that came about this morning before we went to see the sun, which, well, in my side, shame Zoom Kizwana one way. It's been like this for at least 2 or 3 weeks now. So I haven't seen sunrise. But I was out there, fortunately. Yeah. Senudlile ukhisimusi ninjalo because ngiyanibuka nje nibhizi la. Ngiyapheka lapho nenze u-7 colors la, ungazi thiwa kuma-7 colors okwenzani. It's fine. Question that came to my mind is that where is Umeri? I mean, there's a lot of work that has gone into trying to find where the baby Jesus is and his tomb and everything. But where is Umeri? Why is there no outright interest in finding where she is? Where is Umeri? And Wawupi? Where did she come from? Because ultimately, this thing says if Mary was pregnant by some dubious means, okushuthi wafika kuJoseph esemithi le ngane le angayazi uJoseph uyakuphi, then really what was the situation there? Was there a divine thing that was going on, or is there something that we are not being told? I want to talk about this story because ngike ngasibona nje kancane, ngangafuna ukugxila kusona because it's very controversial when you start to examine it, because it tells me ukuthi abantu went and abducted ingane zabantu and then claimed ukuthi somehow somewhere there was some form of a relationship which didn't exist. Uh, from what I saw, ingane leya eyokomuzi othile, this child that they call uMary, these people. Ingane yakumuzi othile obalulekile in the black community, because we are very royal. Nje angizogxila kakhulu ukuthi ke which house she belongs to, but angithi bafunda lapha kumfana loyana bathu. I guess the first part is that thing of Solomon and how the Queen of Sheba thing. So they picked up something there from there. But I'm looking at lento kaMary because if you remember, I was saying to you, uDlamini, the Zwartepit guy, he requested that ngithole udadewabo. And then I was very amazed ukuthi when I'm trying to look at udadewabo, I keep seeing this vision of the child and the mother, the Black Madonna situation. And then you ask yourself, oh, Black Madonna, and shooting this Romans knew this whole thing of a Black Madonna. Because I mean that's what the Italians are, they're the Romans. And they worship that woman, the Black Madonna or the Black Mary. I mean you can look it up. And there was a study, I mean I've mentioned this before, there was a study that was done and they found Uti. In actual fact, she ranks higher than Upra Jesus and God when it comes to who are the Italians in Rome praying to when they have issues and what those things. So when they are looking for divine intervention, they go to the Black Madonna. So I was curious. I was most amazed because I'm like, okay, but Zortepiti, I just couldn't imagine. Uh, and then I had to really look into which is this, which family is this one? Noguti, exactly how did they end up in the Middle East like that? Were they landing up in the Middle East or were they abducted and something happened to this one and the other thing happened to this other one? And I want to really entertain the story kahle, when I have proper really focus on it. But I wanted to just bring it up to your attention here because ngake ngasho phambilini ukuthi ngiyazi ukuthi abantu abamnyama bayayithanda lento yokuba o-Black Jesus and everything, ukuthi Jesus was black, yeah. But that's not a good situation for us. It's not good at all. But it puts us in a very precarious condition and position. And it tells us ukuthi whoever did what to us did it on a very, very deep level. And usiyombamba kude. We really will have a difficult time dealing with that person. If this kid who was put on the cross is a black person, that means that he belongs to some of the or a very serious bloodline of the kings and queens zabantu, and that says ukuthi whatever was done to him izosibamba kuyoze angazi kwenze njani. I mean, judging by how powerful his situation is. I mean, we are stuck with it. No matter how much you try to to push black people away from the thing abafuna ukuphuma kuyona. So it's an obsession that we have. So now it's a bad idea. Anyway, so I'm saying uthi if uMary no Zwarte Piet beyabandabonye, and I'm suspecting uthi these were siblings, and they were siblings in a manner ukuthi they were twins. Kuyingane zenkosi ethile ezantshontshwa ndlela thizeni. They were abducted and taken to Europe. One was taken to the Swiss Alps. Kwakwenziwa izinto zokuthakatha, kwasetshenzwa ukuthakatha, and then his remains were put in the center of the town. Which one is this one number? There's a town there in Switzerland with a very old, very, very old church in the middle. Is it Geneva? I think it's Geneva, but I'm not sure. No, it's not Geneva. It's one of the old Swiss towns. Not the recent pipeline, but it's close to the Alps, because it's just like you can literally walk down from the Alps and go into the small town. And somewhere, uh I was shown ukuthi the way the street arrangement is done is that where his body is, where he's buried, lapho there's an intersection. It's like a center of the town, and the roads are going in a pattern that is like a cross from there. And they secured lento ye-wealth through him. Now, okushuthi intombazane mabemthatha, it's either vele she was already pregnant with the child and they wanted to use the child for something. I don't know, because I didn't want to continue, because when you go and follow these things, you start ending up in those very dangerous places that I don't like. Because I would rather be dealing with these issues kancane kancane. But now to go into that realm where sishaye ngalolu hlobo, then it becomes a hopeless thing. Because if besishaye ngaleya ndlela, eyi, hayi bafethu, hayi, izoba lukhuni. Izoba lukhuni, because we are extremely emotionally attached to the idea of Jesus and who he is and what he stands for, and the cross. And loya msebenzi wethwala owenziwa ngaye, I look at it as something that it's going to be very, very difficult, extremely, extremely difficult to deal with and take away. I mean, even to trace ukuthi kahle kahle le mntwana wakwabani, because there's a lot of things that they write in the book, and it suggests this person was a foreign person in this area. The way they behaved and treated him, the way they behave and treated Maria. So, and Joseph being the person who was tasked with handling this lead. Anyway, it's another story. But the question is, Giovanni Biznabo Christmas and all those things. Who is this lady? Owakwabani uMary? And if it's in the families or amongst the bloodlines of the royal black houses, then how do we get out of this mess? Young Mount. It's a really serious thing, because you look at abantu abamnyama and whatever they are going through, and you realize, no man, hey, ziyakhala la, ziyakhala, and they won't listen to anything, and whatever you tell them, idlula nje, iyeka ingena ngala in one ear iphume on the other one. But yes, so who is uMary? Udadewabo kaSwarte Piet. And what exactly were they trying to accomplish by ukuthwala ngengane? And it's very funny that they would have a passage there where he is asked ukuthi when uyinkosi yakuphi, and he was like, no, my kingdom is not of this place. So I don't like, that's why I say I don't like that one of Jesus being black, because it means ukuthi kade vele kwaqala sithathwa sosetshenziswa, and leliya gazi leliyana elasetshenziswa lapha ayilukhiye shem, sibambe ngamaqakala ney'ngalo nayo yonke into. We can't even think because of leliya thwala lenziwa kuBrajay. So when you're busy saying Merry Christmas there, think about this question of who is Umeri and what was she doing there? And why are the Italians obsessed with the Black Mary? While abantu abamnyama are trying to prove ukuthi uBrajay was a black man, the Italians know ukuthi the Madonna was a black. They are not confused about it. You even take it to Russia, the I think the very first Orthodox painting of that picture came from the Russian Orthodoxy. And the Orthodox Church tends to hold the older traditions of the Church of Rome. Injalo nje. It's very interesting because when you trace lento kaMary, sometimes they talk about the holy blood of the Merovingian kings. Ingane zaka what you call these people, the Dufuna, the kings of France, the Franks, the Frankish Germans, those do nothing kings of Europe, who were kings just by virtue of their bloodline. And then comes in Charlemagne somewhere there. And then you trace that thing. Usalo Charlemagne here, Charlemagne coming from another family altogether. But he eventually takes over and defeats this lady, because the last emperor, or the last person who held from the, because I think when they were from Constantinople, I think is where they were, the emperors of the church, the first ones, that family of the Merovingians, and the last person to hold a seat of the power was a lady. You can do your own research there. So, which is very strange. If they are related to Umeri by somehow, or should Joseph was being used um, to make babies with this lady so that they can have this royal line. Ngisabuka nje. Ngisabuka. Ngafuna uyijulela lento because it's really problematic when you really think about it. When you really think about it, it's really problematic. It puts us in a very, very precarious condition. Yabo. Ngoba it says somehow lento leyo yokuthwala ngamakhosi indala. Should bafika la ngama-1800s beqhuba zona lezi zinto vele bathi sebayiqala. And of course they knew who they were looking for. They didn't come here nje. They were specifically looking for particular people, and they were doing whatever they need to do with those people. And I was explaining to someone, no, the thing of South Africa is very strange, because they know this is where their lifeline is. They cannot leave. They cannot leave. Bakwazi ukuhamba la. And umsebenzi abawenza la mkhulu. And in particular, remembering ukuthi when they first landed here, they didn't land in the Cape of Good Hope. They landed here on the East Coast. And Vasco da Gama and his friends, Bashiyama Beacon here, and they called this port that they developed here, but it's the place of the Nativity, Natal. It's very strange why they would call that Natal. Why Nativity? Hmm. Could it be this is where this child was taken from? Hmm. It's very interesting. But yes, I think we'll spend a big chunk on 2024 trying to unravel this one because it's a lot of information that comes in different ways. And I don't like it to is a game because that one just it's a problem that I don't want to deal with. I don't want to deal with black people and their religious obsession and phone because it's an opium that they've taken and they're drunk from it. They don't want to do anything else. Honest could be ngalezi ezinye izinto that we can go and say as in let's go dig up umlelwane lapha and sing ngempela ukuthi ukhona nje. That one is fine. Manje masefanga dwebe ngishonele to the Middle East and trace ukuthi lezi ingane zibanjwa laphana zaziyofunani zivela kumuphi umndeni and all those things. But I'll tell you ukuthi my biggest feeling is that in actual fact that is the case. Lamawele lawa awumuzi othile and bathatha bawusetshenziswa. And here we are. And I've always said it, you need to watch the timeline. Watch the timeline. The Europeans only managed to come out of Europe and conquer the rest of the world after the episode Gabrajay. Before that, Alexander the Great, that Byzantine Empire, or not Byzantine, man, that Arab Empire of Obani. Oh, Nangmakosh. But there were many people who came out and tried to conquer the world, and they were not succeeding. Egypt Rome even tried. The Romans tried. They couldn't go into, even called the rest of the country. They called it the Dark Continent for a long time because they were afraid to go further. Kwangabuyi lutho. But ithi into mase eda ngalento kaBrajay and the cross and all the shenanigan, then Chigi they are able to come out of Europe and conquer the rest of the world to spread the message of the gospel. Agwas can't be a coincidence, that one. It's not possible. There are no coincidences. So ikhona le nto ewukhiya abayithola yabalekelela kakhulu. Because I mean it doesn't make sense kwakhona ukuthi it's fine uBrajay useshonile-ke waphinde wavuka. And then that's the last thing we know about his family. What happened to Mary not Joseph and ezinye iy'ngane because he had brothers? What happened to them? Where is the family? And then there's a smaller dynamic of Mary Madlamini. Someone talks about Mary Magdalene. I'm like, it sounds like Mary Madlamini. I'm like, okay. And then sometimes you get information with no man, but these are not two different people. These are one and the same person. The story is being obscured and just told to create an image of another person on top of another person. But lo umuntu oyedwa. So who is Umeri? And what family did she come from? And why were they so powerful ukuthi bathi bengasetshenziswa? And mind you, if you remember, ithi ingane mayizalwa kufika abathakathi abathathu, or the three wise men. The three magi, the magicians. The three magicians show up. And seemingly everybody remembers specifically ukuthi babephethe ini nani nani. But they couldn't remember ukuthi babeqhamuka kuphi nendawo. They just came from the east. Isn't that weird? But they remember exactly what they were carrying. Gold, incense, myrrh, angazi nani nani. But the items that they were carrying are strictly remembered. If that's not an alchemy thing, I don't know what else. And this thing of following a star, they were observing stars. These were alchemists. These people were magicians. Bafika laphana bathola ingane, bafika enganeni, nangu Joseph angithi uthunyiwe ukuthi ayigade le process. And I don't even believe ukuthi Mary was somehow having a choice in that situation. So something was done to the child right at that point in preparation ukuthi kwenziwe le nto. And then later after that, he goes and wenza baptism. And then there was a declaration there that was made. But anyway, that's fine. Kodwa ngithi mina buka le yokuthi kufika lezi zazi lezi la ma-magicians. Nayo nje le nto lena ye-translation, it's strange because it's very clear in the translations those were magi, they were magicians. Osomlingo ukuthi abantu abamnyama bese-translate leli bhuku leli sebethi izazi makwenze njani ngoba osomlingo abathakathi. That's what that means. That's what it is. It was never three wise men. It was the three magi, three magicians. You play the Easter Bakamago. That's another question. Fine, you remember that such a minute detail of what they were carrying, but you are forgetting ukuthi baqhamuka kuphi neso. It can't be. It cannot be ukuthi kwangazi ukuthi bavela kuphi kahle kahle at that time. So you see ukuthi there's always these passages that are inserting alchemical knowledge into this text. And they're telling us straight to our faces, no, we were preparing this child for something and something and something. A child of God that we don't know. Simazi ukuthi wazaleka kanjani, but bathatha ingane yenkosi kanti ikhulelwe, and then the rest was history. And ndiyabona ukuthi nangu manje Herod goes around and it's like, no, I'm going to go and kill all these boy children. Because sengizwile ukuthi khona ingane abafuna ukuyisebenzisa lapha. It's going to take over my kingdom. And then the worst part is once Herod starts doing his move, jiggy uyabale Egypt, the land of the Nubians. Uyofunani kubantu abamnyama? Like, how was he going to be hiding kubantu abamnyama? Because they would stick out. It's really serious. These people are telling us what we are dealing with here, but it's in our faces and we don't see it. Silibele ukuthi happy Christmas. Or Santa Claus or Sinterklaas. I tell you every year about Sinterklaas and you still don't catch it. I think it's something that's just there is nothing more important than understanding that thing of Sinterklaas and Black Pete, Zwarte Piet. because yonke imkhokha yokunqotshwa, because the main thing is i-relationship yethu nomcebo, it's messed up. If you cannot handle umcebo, then it means that wisdom is taken from you. You don't have wisdom. Lo and behold, we don't know what to do. We get money, we don't do. We don't know what to do with it. We can't seem to accumulate money and do izinto esidinga ukuthi sizenze ezisishonisa phambili. And we think that's normal. Sicabanga ukuthi kunormal ukuthi hayi. Bese nihamba niyobulala iy'mbuzi-ke nama-chickens lapha. Nifuna ukuyosebenza, nisebenzela abelungu. The sheer commitment esinayo to work for abelungu, for itself, nayo iyakhuluma ukuthi hayibo, why are black people so determined to work for whites? We have nothing else that we are so inspired to do emhlabeni besides that one. Hey, siyathanda ukubasebenzela abelungu. Ayikho futhi enye into esibona ukuthi siyenze emhlabeni. Ngathi nje uBraji or Creator lo wasikhanda wasilethela nje for the mere convenience of abelungu. Leyo nto leyo ikhuluma very serious thing yokuba imkhovu. Simkhovu yabo, and people don't just become imkhovu. Something has to be done spiritually to capture them. Saying abanye abantu la bathi bahambe lapha bendabuko bayazi in, but they can't see this obvious thing. It's ridiculous. Bayibuka zonke ezinye izinto lezi, hayi abantu bani yakuthakatha. Naba abantu basenza imkhovu for hundreds and hundreds of years. No one is talking about it. Basikhovile for hundreds of years basenza imkhovu. Anything esifuna ukuyenza kumele siye kubona. Anything. We just ngisho ufuna ukuthi uye toilet, ngisho ukusindaba, it comes back to them. It's really serious. But you know, black people want Christmas. Funa ama-Christmas ni. Bengizothi mina indaba Christmas iyekeni. I'm saying this for the third time. Hlukanani no Christmas. Hlukanani. Stop doing this nonsense. Kuhle-ke vele ngoba kulonyaka kubonakalile ukuthi hayi, it's not taking off. Akudisembekanga nalo Christmas wena umuntu. Umkhize uthephe. Yekeni lezi zinto lezi. We can start there. Singaze siye entweni ezinkulu. Just ake siyeke nje uChristmas ngamabomu. Sikhohlwe yiwona singawu-celebrate. Futhi noma ungashintshi ungabe i-holiday. Apply nje kuhulumeni ukuthi hayi, sicela sivalele le holiday-ke thina ama-Africans siyabonga. Bothi nizosizakala kangakanani. Sheer madness. An obsession with things that you don't know. Izinto lezi enzenzayo uthenza. Njengoba nizenza, umsuka wazi ukuphi. Imisa la Christ Mass, Christmas. And there's a lot of other arcane knowledge that comes from that. It's not just in the about Jesus Christ and all that. There's also an attachment of Dionysus. I talk about Dionysus all the time. You are in a cult of Dionysus, and they're using an image of a man that was not even there. Because really, if you think about it, if you understand the dynamics as emhlabeni and what you call them, seasons of the year, no one is out heading cattle ebusuku or sheep during high winter, because in 25 December is high winter in the northern hemisphere, unless you are saying that man was born in the southern hemisphere in high summer. in the southern hemisphere. So that alone takes that thing of the birth of Ubrajay and throws it out the window, which it did not happen on Christmas. I mean, on the 25th. Ayenzekanga on the solstice. It couldn't. Put it somewhere there, go April lapho nje. If you understand what's the seasonality of things in the Middle East. Ngabe lezi zimvu zazi ngabe zigraze kuphi? What were they supposed to be grazing? Zidle buphi utshani in high drought winter? But you are convinced ukuthi uJesu wazalwa ngo-25 December. Into engekho. They are making you worship Dionysus. Kuningi nje. There are many elements of the story. So that's the other dynamic that comes into play. But that's why my main question today is, but okay, it's fine. Let's say mhlambe babe khona labantu kanjalo kanjalo, but who is this one? Who is this lady? Who is this lady empire? What is her role in this whole thing? Injalo. But anyway, ake niqhubeke niyodlala ama-Christmas. I'm hoping what is going to be the last one for abantu basemkizweni. We must not see this nonsense of people benze uKhisimusi la. You must tell your families, no, enough is enough. Senibadala kabi manje. Amithaba.